Welcome to The Bottom Line.
Well, Rome wasn't built in a day, and wars are not won in less than 2 months. That's a news flash to Democrats, whose constant attempts to hamstring the Iran mission sure won't make it go any faster.
The Senate is supposed to vote again tomorrow on a war powers resolution, an effort that's already been rejected 4 times. Maybe take the hint. They won't. President Trump, on the other hand, can read the room. Iran ghosted another round of peace talks in Pakistan today.
So tonight, the president announced on Truth Social, quote, based on the fact that the government of Iran is seriously fractured, not unexpectedly so, America will therefore extend the ceasefire until such time as their proposal is submitted and discussions are concluded one way or the other.
Let the negotiator-in-chief do his thing. But the unhelpful peanut gallery can't help themselves.
Donald Trump said, quote, the war in Iran is going along swimmingly. It's perfect. The truth is that the Trump administration is barely treading water. What planet is he on?
Well, thanks for nothing, Chuck. It seems like Democrats keep taking Iran's side. Enter Senator Chris Murphy. He started quite the uproar on social media today, reposting a highly disputed report that Iran's shadow fleet was bypassing the U.S. blockade. Awesome, he said.
After the internet went berserk, he attempted to clarify that his tweet was something called sarcasm. Oh, really? A sitting senator who receives intelligence briefings brushing off his repost of Iranian propaganda as a nothing burger? Not up to snuff.
Twitter's become kind of a cesspool. I probably should give up on sarcasm on Twitter.
Do you regret the post? Are you planning on taking it down?
I mean, I guess I just have to be more careful about sarcasm on Twitter.
That's right. And then he doubled down as the day went on. His buddy Adam Kinzinger slamming everyone's outrage over the post, calling it a masterclass in distraction as Iranian ships are blowing past the U.S. blockade, to which Murphy said, correct, no sarcasm.
Joining us now to discuss, Texas Congressman Pat Fallon. Congressman, great to see you. There's a part of me that wants to laugh mercilessly at how stupid Senator Murphy's post was. On the other hand, it is the height of irresponsibility for an elected leader in his position to be taking that stand. Congressman, what's your perspective on it?
Brian, I would fully agree. I mean, you work for the American people. You should be cheering for our republic and not our enemy, which is Iran. So let's take him at his word. Okay, so he was sarcastic. He's a grown man. He should know that that's not going to translate on Twitter. And at worst, he actually was cheering on our enemy, a nation state that was the largest state sponsor of terror, that's responsible for over 600 American servicemen's deaths. So I find it disgusting. And here's a novel idea, Brian. Lydia, how about this? How about the Democrats here on the Hill love our country more than they hate Donald Trump?
But they can't seem to reach that. And, you know, Congressman, I was really taken when, I remembered that this senator actually was in Barcelona earlier this week. You're probably aware. And he was speaking to folks there in Spain, and he was apologizing to them for the U.S. being in what he was saying was such a state of disarray, that we're in a state of chaos. It just really kind of flies in the face of what he should be doing, considering Spain has not really been a great supporter of ours on this war in Iran, Congressman. Why can't the Democrats cheer for the United States on the world stage?
It's particularly when we go overseas, it's kind of an unwritten rule that you don't criticize the sitting president when you're overseas and not on American soil. He obviously violated that. And the leftist government of Spain is really not a friend of the United States. Let's go as far as to say that. They're not allowing us to use the military bases we have there in this operation. Meanwhile, Spain will benefit if the Tehran regime falls and there is some semblance of legitimacy in that country where they won't export terror and they won't export ballistic missiles and they won't pursue nuclear weapons. guess who benefits? The entire world at large. Maybe Russia and China lose an ally, but everyone else wins, including Spain, including, by the way, Chris Murphy.
Let me throw something at you. You shoot this down if I'm wrong. But I think the Iranian regime is counting on guys like Senator Chris Murphy. They know their best shot at outlasting the U.S., of getting out of this thing, is guys like him doing exactly what he did with that post. Congressman, does Senator Murphy understand the role he may be playing in helping that regime negotiate right now?
It's their best chance and their only leverage right now to have folks like that, like him, really undermining our mission. And since when did the Democratic Party become a propaganda wing for the Islamic Republic's regime and mullahs? It really is disgusting. And incidentally, I don't believe, from what I've seen, and I sit on the Intel Committee and the Armed Services Committee, that 18 ships, Iranian ships, ran our blockade. I think that's misinformation. I think that's inaccurate, and it's highly irresponsible to repeat it.
You're right, widely disputed today. Congressman, I really want to get to this next point because it's big news about the indicted Democrat, Cherfilus-McCormick. As you are aware, she resigned from Congress today after, just moments away from a hearing from the Ethics Committee that was going to announce, how she should be punished for her indictment and her alleged conduct down in Florida over fraud, over stealing money from the federal government. Your thoughts on her resignation?
Yeah, from what I understand, her company was paid, before she got into Congress, it was supposed to be paid $50,000. They were mistakenly, the decimals got moved quite a bit, and it was $5 million. And she kept the money. She didn't return it. She spent it on God knows what. She stole from the very people that she purports to help. And yeah, I think the Ethics Committee was going to recommend expulsion. She would have been expelled, so instead she resigned. So no longer a colleague. And you know what? Good riddance.
She claims it was a huge rush to judgment. She didn't receive due process. I, for one, kind of like it when our elected officials are held accountable, Congressman. Was this a rush to judgment, or did you guys do it the right way?
There's no doubt it was not a rush to judgment, because the Ethics Committee, this took a couple of years. How in the hell is that a rush to judgment? This was deliberate. And by the way, the Ethics Committee is made up of 5 Democrats and 5 Republicans, which means you have to have some bipartisan agreement or you can't move forward. And I believe it was good. From what I was told, it was going to be unanimous to recommend expulsion. So no rush to judgment. It's fake news, and she is now in the private sector.
All right, Congressman Pat Fallon, always good to see you. Thanks for being with us tonight.
Thanks,
Thank you,
Brian.
Congressman.
God bless, Lydia.
All right.
Take care.
Thank you.